Well, good morning, guys. It was a peaceful sleep last night. Hardly any wind at all. Very few moths, which, if you remember, there's been a bit of an infestation here in New Mexico. So thankful that we didn't have to deal with a bunch of that last night. But we got hammock time going on over here for this girl. And now it's time to get the tent packed down before it gets too stinking hot. And then I think we're going to move the trailer here in the shade, cook a bit of breakfast, and get on the trail. Go a little bit further north, get a little bit more altitude, get us some nicer weather. Let's go. Let's do this. You gotta work smarter, not harder. Put that thing in the shade. Stay cool. It's getting warm quick. All right, well that wraps up our first camp. Now let's head on up to some cooler temperatures and find the next one. This is actually where we brought Caroline on her very first camping trip, so a bit of a special return. Well guys, how was that camp spot?
Great.
Caroline, do you remember being there when you were 18 months old? You do? What do you remember the most? Going mountain hiking, of course, at 18 months old.
Sorry, I mean lion hunting.
That's right. We did do the mountain lion hunting. We'll have to
wolf cry.
We'll have to show a bit of video from that. That was a fun little adventure there. Welcome to the first episode of Dual Survival, Baby Edition. We're trudging through the wilds of New Mexico backlands on the search of mountain lion. Been without food for about 6 days now, surviving on leftover diapers. It's been rough. Real crappy situation, but we're making it. Yeah. Did you see one? Where? Did you see one? Where is it? Oh, okay. Stay tuned. How's it going back there? Still good? Say hello to the fans at home. Hi. I don't know if I could carry you in that backpack now, though.
That'd be funny.
Oh, but what a beautiful morning at camp. Not too windy, just enough shade to stay cool. We're climbing up to 79 degrees right now, so it's just the perfect time to get on the move again and work our way a little bit further north. But we actually tried to do this whole backyard camping thing. We had this plan to do this video before we were freed up to travel some more, and it didn't really work out the way we had planned. It was still fun, don't get me wrong, but we had a bit of a infestation that put a damper on the whole sleeping in a tent thing. So let's just roll a bit of that footage and show you what was almost a really cool backyard camp out.
Our backyard adventure began in the southeast corner of New Mexico. We had traveled 2 miles the day before along our dusty driveway, trying to get just the perfect shot while keeping our drone skills frosty. Both rigs had sat mostly idle for 2 months, taking turns on a few trips to the grocery store just to keep the batteries charged and seals lubricated. If you're watching this video sometime in the future, this was at the height of the pandemic of 2020, and with shelter-in-place orders for our state, our camping had to be a bit more local than we liked. It had been months without rain, and the dry heat of midday meant any enjoyment of the great outdoors would have to be done early in the morning or after sundown. But we made the best of it and did what we enjoy most, cooking and eating delicious camping food while pretending we were in the wilderness. Which I guess for some, this corner of 640 acres would probably qualify as remote, so we counted our blessings and felt fortunate to have room to breathe in this wild western land of enchantment. But our little local adventure was about to come to an abrupt end. That night, Sarah was ill and left Caroline and I to sleep in the tent. The next morning, we knew we weren't alone in this secluded backyard campout.
Alright, so maybe you can hear me under here for just a second. So Caroline and I slept in the tent the first night. Sarah wasn't feeling great, so she retreated back to the hacienda. When we woke up, there were about 50 moths fluttering overhead. And when I mean overhead, I mean they were in the tent with us. Apparently they followed the track of the cords that I had run up into the tent, and it was pretty insane. So I had to open the screens and shoo them out and stuff. But New Mexico, and especially the desert in general, has these random infestations, like this one now, that just happen from different bugs and stuff. One year it was gnats, one year it was grasshoppers. Like, it just happens when the conditions are just perfect, and this time it's moths. And we have thousands of them in this tent right now. So I'm trying to get them cleaned out while the wind is blowing them away, and hopefully get this thing folded down so that we don't get any more damage to it from moths. So, not the backyard camping experience we were looking for, but, you know, do what you can do at this point. Alright, let's see what we can do about getting these guys out of here.
Now, to be very clear, this tent had been deployed for 3 days while shooting some cooking videos. We had abandoned the idea of sleeping in it with the ever-increasing heat. When I made my way inside, I realized I had totally forgotten about leaving this panel open to let the moths out that first morning.
Oh, man.
What you see here is the result of 2 nights of full moon moth activity in the world's largest moth trap. In all our years of camping, we've never experienced anything like this.
Crazy. Get out of my tent. Oh my gosh. Incredible. I've never seen anything like this before. At least it's not bees or wasps or scorpions or even flies. I guess moths aren't too bad.
But anyhow, back to the story at hand.
What you reading? Legos. All right, girl, you ready for some lunch?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We found a pretty cool place to have it too. Check it out.
I might have filled my
Delicious, low carb. There's no bacon or steak here today. All right, so we've been making our way along the Rim Road, as it's called, and kind of want to mix things up a bit. There's a couple of trails that shoot off to the east that we've never been on. Could be duds, could be fun, but you never know until you try it. So let's go see where they go. Let's see what we get into. Let's have the fun.
Let it all go. Close your tired eyes. Sleep for a little while. Just put your guitar down, down and it's okay. Play it safe. Your mistakes, let them all go. Your broken dreams, your high hopes. Love, so delicate. Life is sometimes strange. Sometimes it takes a big rain to feel the sun again. Sometimes it takes a big rain. Sometimes it takes a big rain. Your chance, your heavy load. You made it through another day. You're surely on your way. Just put your guitar down, down and it's okay.
The caves, Caroline. Well, this has been a happy little detour. Seen all kinds of cool stuff, but I'm not sure if the trail, oh yeah, it still goes. So it's not uncommon at all to run across trails that have rarely been used here in New Mexico. So it's a bit fun trying to pick your way through the shrubbery to figure out the way it's supposed to go. But this is on the MVUM, so still 100% legal. Man, it's beautiful down here. In its own quaint, hidden valley kind of way. Not an epic kind of way. Right?
Right.
Well, this has turned out to be a pretty cool little detour. We finally linked back up with the direction we wanted to head. But as we were driving along, I saw something sticking up out of the desert floor that just seemed a little out of place. I'll show you as soon as she gets done backing out. Let's go see what this is. It's a little water spigot. No water. Oh well. It's crazy. In the middle of nowhere. Keep rolling.
Now it's following us.
After a long day of exploring these Guadalupe hills, we struck off down another sparsely traveled trail and found yet another incredible view. While we would have loved to set up camp on the edge of the cap, our experience told us it was too windy for us to risk setting up on the exposed bare ground if we intended to get any sleep. And so we opted to forego the epic Instagram camp photograph for peace and quiet in the shelter of some juniper and cedars just a few hundred feet away. Being back on the trail again felt so good, so freeing after months of staying in one place. It's funny how easy it can be to take some of the simplest things for granted. And while we would never wish the current world circumstances on anyone, we can at least appreciate the fresh perspective on the important things in life it has brought into focus. While we know we are the fortunate few travelers at this point in time, we hope that the capturing and sharing of a bit of our travels will help you to hold on and look forward to your own new opportunities to embrace adventure in the future.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna be a little lover, hiding under cover in the pouring rain. I'm gonna be the one you see before you close your eyes. You could be my honey, I could be a little bit of sunshine. I'm gonna kiss you in the morning, miss you when you're gone, and write you every day. I'm gonna
or fall over, Barney.
Little bit of sunshine.
Everything. It's like Thanksgiving all over again. Now, I didn't film this as a recipe, so if you think you might want to see it, let me know in the comments. What's that? You guess?
Yes. Right? Yes. How does it taste?
Good.
Good. You want to go hunt grasshoppers?
Okay. A boy! Oh, that's a girl. Wow, there's a ton of girls. Huh? Ah! Go away.
Give me a cheese. Ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.